Okay.
Elvis.
No. I know your name. I don't know what's going on with me. Maybe we're all tired. Maybe it's because of what you did to me that night. We'll give details later. But no, thank you for the opportunity to be here, but also thank you for the opportunity to join us on this podcast. I thought it was important to capture and interview some amazing people while I'm here. Of course, this is my second time in Kenya. I think this time around I've got to experience Kenya in a different light. And the conference itself has been beautiful to be able to engage with a lot of beautiful young people that are working around climate justice, climate change, be it with the oceans or the land or air pollution variety, but also to witness high-level discussions and engage in them has been mind-opening. And the network as well has been beautiful. Yeah. Before I go further, I'd like to introduce the one that I don't want to be called our boss, Elvis, from Head and Hands Initiative. But also, he's obviously very well experienced youth leader in Kenya and works with the secretary as well. So, can I open the floor first to give us an insight into yourself, your work, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Ede, for having me on your podcast. So my name is Elvis Lian. I am from Kenya, and I run an organization, a community-based organization in Kajiado County, which deals with climate change education and environmental conservation programs. We also have other programs, in youth empowerment, women empowerment, sexual reproductive health and rights. So basically, the idea behind Heads and Hands was to basically try and find a holistic approach to some of the most pressing issues within my community. And so that's why we have all these programs that we believe that are able to kind of speak to and find solutions to the community challenges. Yes, yeah. So, and apart from that, I'm also in the secretariat, the Africa Youth Climate Assembly. I was leading the diaspora engagements, and that's how I ended up having you.
Yeah.
I ended up on your podcast.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I really want to thank you for honoring our invitation. Flying all the way from the UK to just come and share your experience and give your perspective on issues to do with the climate crisis from a diaspora perspective. Being an African living in the diaspora, we really do appreciate. Yeah.
No, I want to say thank you for the invitation, but also thank you for considering the diaspora, and that's the first and starting point. And I would say the new office. What the diplomatic work of the what is the office called?
Oh yeah. So it's the State Department of Diaspora Affairs. Kenya.
I think this initiative is very strong, and this will be the second time I'm coming to Kenya based on this initiative.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
And I see the work they're doing in the UK for the diaspora as well.
Yeah.
So I want to say congratulations to the government for that investment in that initiative.
Absolutely.
I think it will make people more comfortable.
Absolutely.
In engaging in Kenya and investing in the future. But away from that, yes, thank you for considering the diaspora in this conversation, and I'm really glad that we're starting to explore the sixth section of the African Union and explore how we really can, because as somebody from Nigeria but also living in the UK, you're always thinking, what can I do? How can I do it? And how can I make it an effective impact? And the conversation we had with your programming was very telling and very explorative in that. So if you weren't there, then you missed it. But maybe you will get an insight through this podcast. But let me take it a little bit back, right? So that's currently where we're at. But talk to me about your leadership journey before your organization.
Okay, yeah. So, well, I think my leadership journey began when I was in high school. So when I was in high school, I was an entertainment prefect. So
Okay.
you know what happened on Saturdays.
Okay.
You get the
No,
background
no,
right.
no, no, no. You're very okay. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
No, no,
So
you deserve that. Sounds like a compound of development.
yeah. So well, I think that's where my leadership journey began. Given that responsibility to like make sure that as we're in school, also, they say all work with no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah.
So trying to see how we can incorporate entertainment and in the learning environment. And then after that, I think I've always, wanted to like give direction and just like uh, be a role model to people, and also being like a second born in my family.
Okay.
I have other siblings who are behind me, and also I feel like it's a huge responsibility to be a role model to them. So I set a good example, and then after that, I think in campus or in the university wasn't that much. I wasn't out there, but later on when I started working, I started working as a customer care, agent for one of the biggest communication networks in Kenya.
Okay.
And then after that, I was very intentional in getting into the NGO
Okay.
in NGO world. So I actually did a course on project management because my background is on business management, and that was just to like give me the opportunity to be in the NGO in the NGO world, because in the NGO world there's a lot of projects and all that. So in 20 I think it was in 2014, that's when I officially got into the NGO world.
Okay.
And I was working in a MasterCard project, which was basically dealing with youth empowerment. And so there I was an entrepreneurship trainer,
Okay.
so helping young people set up small businesses, and just helping them understand the different business dynamics, and just encouraging them to be job creators rather than job seekers. And after that, I think I was in that position for probably 2 years, and then I was promoted to center manager.
Okay.
So I was managing a center here in Nairobi and also in Kiambu County.
Okay.
And then after that, like working in the NGO space and coming from a community that is very disadvantaged, the Maasai community.
Yeah.
So I was, I could see the impact of having such an organization in the community.
Yeah.
That is changing the lives of people.
People.
And so working in the different, because I worked in different counties.
Yeah.
During my 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 stay at that organization.
Okay.
And I could, I realized that back at home we didn't have such organizations that were working towards bettering the lives of my community. And so in 2018, I decided I've had enough experience. I've learned, what it means to.
No, it sounds like as you've explained.
Yeah.
It sounds like there was a lot of learning and
Yes, there
a lot of
was.
offering yourself as well.
Yes. So I was able to, acquire the skills and the know-how to run an NGO.
Yeah.
And so I decided if this is working, then I might as well, start
Yeah.
my own initiative back at home and help my community because this organization wasn't in my community. So I was working with other communities, and I felt there was a need for me to also give back to the community that I come from.
To invest yourself into a community,
Yeah.
it must be a special community. That's just basic, right?
Yes.
So tell me about your community, just a little bit before we move forward.
Well, so my community is the Maasai community. Is a very famous community in Africa.
Yeah.
I think I would say it's like the face of Africa. If you look around the pictures, the paintings, yeah. So it's a community that is very rich in culture.
Yeah.
But also it's a community that is underprivileged, considering that one, the community is based in the semi-arid areas of Kenya, and also for a very long time it's been a forgotten community in so many ways. So in development, in education, so it's I would say it's an underprivileged community. Yes.
Yeah.
So so that's the reason why I felt it's good for me to now use the experience and the knowledge that I've gained from this NGO for the betterment of my community.
Yeah.
And that is where Heads and Hands initiative was born. Yes. So basically, the reason why we chose the name Heads and Hands is because what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate, so sharpen the minds of the community, and also
Heads and hands.
And hands is equip them with skills, hands-on skills that would, help them in probably finding livelihoods for themselves.
Self-sustainability.
Yes, and sustainability. Yeah, so Heads and Hands initiative.
And that's how you got there.
Yes.
And how long have you been running?
So officially, 2019, because I started the organization was actually formally registered in 2019.
But it's been cooking.
Yes. So, 2019 is when we started the projects, and it was registered, because remember in 2018 I was still in employment. So 2019 is when the organization was born and registered, and we've done a couple of projects. We've planted over 20,000, planted and donated over 20,000 trees in the county. We've engaged over 4,000 youths. And then remember, this is 2019. So 2020 in February, first case of corona in Kenya, and we went to a lockdown. But then I remember at that time there was still, we had here is the standard 8s. So is it like transitioning from primary school to secondary school, and also there was a transition from secondary school to the universities. And so I remember the schools were closed, but then the government said, we have to have these standard 8s and Form 4 students going back to school. But at that point, apart from the books and pens, there was some other demands in terms of sanitation. So you needed to have
pads.
you needed to have the sanitizers, the masks. So we partnered with some of my friends, and we were able to donate over 4,000 masks, reusable masks.
You have good friends, my brother.
Yeah. Actually, it's good to just mention that this is my friend Nazreen Ali. She runs an organization. It's called Africapu. Together with Billion Foundation here in Nairobi, Mathare. They were able to donate the masks.
Let me take on that note. I've met a lot of young leaders, here. Compared to Manchester, the leadership culture here is strong because people identify the issues in the community and move towards it. How proud are you of that? That you have a lot of young leaders working towards similar goals, but with focus across, different regions, and actually seeing you all come together here
Yeah.
was beautiful. So
Yeah.
what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's really encouraging to see, and especially I don't know about the rest of Africa, but I think in Kenya, young people are really, you know, they are really what's the word? They they don't sit back and wait for things to happen.
Yeah.
They get out there and
Make things happen,
make
right?
things happen. Yeah. So and you could see that with the secretariat.
Yeah.
So just also to mention, you know, like how the secretariat came to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. Yeah, how
Yeah.
did that come? Because if it felt like programming an event at that scale, which I've
Yeah.
never done before.
Yeah.
I've done some festivals, but never done before.
Yeah.
Is something else. And after achieving that, getting to shake the hands of the president of your country,
Yeah.
congratulating your team and your efforts.
Yes.
What does that feel like? But first, the process to that.
Well, so I think this journey began in February, when the heads of states, African heads of state, they met in I think it was in Addis, and it was mentioned that we are going to have an African Climate Summit, which is going to be hosted by the government of Kenya. And so when that was mentioned, we asked ourselves as young people, because, well, the secretariat, we kind of been working together
Already.
even before this summit.
What was the focus at that time?
We were working on it was called the Stockholm+50. It was Stockholm+50. So this was a celebration of 50 years since the formation of the United Nations Environmental Program. So that was in 20 actually last year.
Yeah.
And so we also had we had the privilege to sit in the task force for the Stockholm+50. I think we were 7 young people from Africa, and we were 50 from across the globe in the task force. And so we were able to put together that the Stockholm+50 were involved in the whole process for the Stockholm+50. So we kind of knew what it meant to put up such a
high-level
a conference of this magnitude. And so when this was announced, we happened to be supporting our colleague Elizabeth Wathuti, who was actually she was appointed by the president to be in the commission, Nairobi River Commission.
Okay.
And so after the commissioning, we sat somewhere and we had lunch. And we were like, now the Africa Climate Summit is coming to Africa. But how are the youths going to meaningfully engage with this summit?
Am I correct to say this is the first time the African Youth Climate Summit?
Yes. This is an inaugural event.
Yeah.
It's the first time it's happening in Africa.
Yeah.
So we sat down and we were like, so the Africa Climate Summit is coming to Nairobi, and the heads of states in Africa are going to be here. But how are the youths going to engage?
Yeah.
And so there was no clear mechanism in which young people are going to engage with the summit. And so we decided, we've done the Stockholm process, and apart from that, other people who are not in the task force, who are in the secretariat, they've also been involved in the environmental work, in policies, and they've been to the co-ops, so they understand.
Gathered experience.
Yes, they've gathered the experience. So you're like,
and that itself for the team needs
Yes.
to be something that's done way before.
Yes.
People need to fly everywhere and pull together the knowledge to make something that's special.
Exactly. So we sat together and we came up with a concept note. This concept note was shared with the Ministry of Environment, and we also touched base with the African Union.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of push and pull. We knocked at the doors, persistently. We were very persistent, and I really want to thank the leadership of the secretariat.
Yeah.
They really did a good job in pushing for this agenda. And so when they saw that we had put together a concept note that really, it was
sense.
it was a very good concept note.
Yeah.
So they couldn't resist, and they said, now, you know what, we are going to make this the official youth engagement mechanism to the summit. So so we called it the Africa Youth Climate Assembly.
Yeah.
So it is the precursor to the climate summit.
Yeah. Which is ongoing right now.
Which is ongoing right now. So it started on the 1st of September and ended yesterday on the 3rd of September. And, during that whole process, there is what we were calling the regional consultations. So
I noticed that online.
Yes. So the regional consultations, we were getting inputs from across Africa in the different regions. So the West Africa, East Africa, North Africa, Southern Africa, and Central Africa.
Yeah.
And youths were, having their voices, giving their inputs, and this now fed into the Nairobi Youth Climate Declaration, which was presented to the president yesterday, and which actually is again going to be presented, already has been presented to the heads of states. Yes, this morning it was presented to the heads of state.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. So,
but that moment, it's not, you'll be among the very few percentage of people that will get to meet their president.
Yes.
What is this like?
Well, so the president is, we are very lucky to have a president who
does not need wheelchairs, huh?
Yes, a young president.
Yeah. I'm not talking about, but if you know where I'm from, you know the current situation.
That's right. Yeah, so very sober-minded, individual who keeps.
I saw him on a motorbike once on a video riding a motorbike.
Yeah, yesterday he actually drove himself to the venue at the KICC in an electric car. Which was very cool. And then on the first day when he came, he promised that he's going to come back for the closing ceremony. And
it was not a political promise.
And it wasn't a political promise. Yeah, he kept the promise. And, he came wearing some very cool, outfit that was very youthful. And, it was very friendly. And so, I was saying, like, we don't take it for granted that we have such a president who's ready to listen to the young people. He's pro youth. He's also very conscious of the climate crisis, and he's also a Pan-Africanist. He's been advocating for one Africa, trying to also
the president of the World Development Bank could not stop appreciating them yesterday.
Yes.
Which showcases his leadership across the continent. Really.
That's right.
Which is a powerful thing.
Yeah. Like watching him even in the global stages. It's like the other day in Paris, France. His speeches are very, well researched, pro Africa. And trying to push the Africa's agenda to the global space. The
commitment to financing youth, the commitment to financing youth in agriculture.
Yes.
He said what? We invested 38 billion.
Billion. Yes.
We didn't get back 3 billion.
3 billion.
I'll do it again.
That
was beautiful.
Yes.
Because you might see that as a loss, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a loss. Yes.
The rest came back. That means new businesses, this is powerful.
Exactly. He said he's gonna pump even more money that is going to be channeled to the youth. Because there is that narrative that youth are high risk, and he said he doesn't buy that idea, and he thinks that youth are a resource and all they need is support such kind of financial support to boost their businesses in the different sectors, and especially in agriculture.
And that was followed with financing, empowering youth. Is something else, but financing youth is
totally
different.
Yeah, there are two different terms. Yeah, that was the president of the African Development Bank. Yeah.
Which kind of changed how I looked at these organizations that come. I'm here to empower you.
Yeah.
When I have an idea, I need you to do more than empowerment.
That's
when
right.
I need to study, you should empower me that way. But when I have an idea and I'm passionate, you should finance me.
It
And you
needs
should-
financing.
Yes, you should let me fail too.
Yes.
You know, so congratulations for having a good president to some degree, I guess.
Thank you.
Some other countries will fight for this. You know,
Yeah.
I think Rwanda as well has a good one too.
Yeah.
Before we close off, you've talked to us about your leadership journey all the way to what could be a climax at the moment.
Yeah.
Where are we going next?
Well, so I think there's a lot in the pipeline, and especially with the Africa Youth Climate Assembly. What we had envisioned when we started off, we said that we don't want this to end on the 3rd of September. So there's a lot that we are yet to achieve.
Okay.
If you were keen, you'll notice that we say that, and also the president also gave a commitment and said that this, whatever we put forward yesterday in the declaration, will not stop there.
Yeah.
We're going to present it at the UNGA, UN General Assembly, also at COP28 and other international forums that are yet to come. So this journey doesn't stop. It has just begun.
What I understood from the mechanism that we've just experienced is that Africa now will have a space to consolidate its force from the youth, from the governance, before going out. That's what I understood from what we just experienced.
Yes.
Which is historic, which is powerful, which, as the president stated, is a change of gear, is a change of ways of doing things.
That's right.
Instead of complaining,
Yeah.
we will give you our recommendations,
Yes.
which has to be respected now.
Yes. That was very powerful because, for the longest time, Africa has been seen as the disadvantaged continent, and we are looked at in the eyes of the people who just need to be financed. They need to be supported. Don't have the ideas. We are the people who are always waiting for the global north to come through for us.
Yeah.
But right now the narrative has changed, and now we are saying Africa has, first of all, it's the youngest continent in the world, and youth are the biggest resource in Africa. That will change not just Africa but the world.
Yeah.
Africa has the greatest or the largest natural resource that can be used to combat climate change.
Yeah.
And also Africa has very great minds.
Yeah.
So we are no longer begging, and we just want to be in the decision making tables. We want to put out our recommendations. We want to be part of the solution. And if you can remember during our session at the diaspora session, what came out very clearly is right now we don't want aid. We want partnerships. We want investment. So it's no longer that we want handouts anymore.
Because aid comes with its own, influence.
Yes.
Political, economical.
Yeah.
So no, I'm leaving Kenya excited.
That's great. That's great. That's good to hear.
Well, even though we're just specifically speaking to climate change, I'm leaving Kenya excited. From meeting the leaders here. From interacting. I wanna end or start to go towards a conclusion with your recommendation on simple ways for young people, for all people of all ages, to impact climate change in a positive way. It could be very simple points like recycling, or but what would you say?
Well, I think first of all, climate change in this space, we tend to use very complicated terminologies that are not, they're not they do not speak to the grassroots
No.
and to many people. So if we're able to simplify what really climate change is and what are some of the solutions, then I think we will be able to have everybody on board.
Yep.
Because right now, there are people in their villages who, well, they know that there's something that is happening, but because of how it's presented to them, sometimes it comes out as
Academic research. Huh?
it comes out as academic research. It comes out as like a hoax, because the terms that are being used are too complicated for them to understand.
Yeah.
But if you're able to go to their level and help them understand, you see, like you knew per acre you're able to harvest 10 bags. That was like 10 years ago. Look at the weather patterns, the rain patterns. These are the things that we are talking about. Yeah. And what are some of the reasons we are having this change in climate? You see, you are cutting down trees for charcoal. This very simple kind of explanations.
Localize it.
Localize it for them. Yes, and that way I think having everyone on board and everyone understanding what climate change is. What causes climate change and how they can be part of a solution, then I think this fight is going to get easier for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Any final thoughts? And I want to say, imagine how inspired the young people that were from the primary school, high school, were to be sitting in that space. Imagine the compound of their leadership going forward.
Yeah.
If that's even the starting point of their leadership.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. And that's my final thoughts. And I wanted to reflect with you on this podcast. So any final thoughts?
Well, I must say that right now Africa is rising.
Yeah.
And Africa is woke. And young people are taking the leadership, this opportunity, and I think it's not too long before we see a very different Africa.
I believe that too.
Yeah. So we are rising, and it couldn't come at a better time. I'm so excited to be alive, and I really want to see that change and that transformation happening very soon. Yeah.
You've heard it here first. Africa is rising. Be part of the movement. If you're joining us on this, listening in, then please think about visiting back home. Think about coming back home. Think about Kenya. Think about the region. Think about Elvis. If you want to invest in climate output from young people,
Heads Enhanced initiative, yes.
Initiative is a go-to point. In general, I will leave Elvis's full name in the information below. If you want to book him as a speaker, he travels well globally, so he's also, I'm sure you'll be happy to move around, to speak, to share, and to engage as well.
That's right.
This is a high-level youth leader playing in Kenya. You've heard it here first. Thank you. I've been Namiuki, here with our special guest, Elvis.
Thank you so much.
I keep almost calling you Elvis Presley. The musician.
I know. I get a lot of that.
Get a lot of that.
Yeah, and I actually.
So I'm not unique, huh?
Yeah, I get a lot lot.
Yeah.
And like every time in any room that I go to, because I think there are so many fans of Elvis specifically, so my name just sticks. So if there's a room of 10 people, then they will always remember the one.
Elvis.
One and only.
Yeah, not everybody's called Elvis, right? Maybe I'll call my kid Michael Jackson as the first name, not even both names, But no, thank you very much. Yeah?
Thank you.
Okay.